My partner recently discovered he has a 50% chance of inheriting a deadly condition from his biological father, but he's refusing to take a genetic test, claiming it would destroy his ability to enjoy life. Meanwhile, I feel we need clarity to map out our shared future. We've been a couple for 5 years, and he's my soulmate. I can't picture life without him. The idea of ending things is tearing me apart. He was adopted, so his medical background was a mystery to both him and his adoptive parents. A few weeks ago, he connected with his biological brother for the first time and learned his birth father died from Huntington's disease. There's a 50% chance my partner carries the gene for Huntington's, but he won't get tested. It's not the illness itself that terrifies me, it's the uncertainty. Knowing the truth would let us plan financially, logistically, and emotionally for what's ahead. He believes a positive result would stop him from truly living, but I think the opposite. How can we move forward with this massive question mark hanging over us? How can I make informed choices about where we settle, how we save, or whether to have biological kids without all the information? So I've decided I may have to walk away. I respect his choice, but I can't embrace or live with it. I have no one to confide in because this is his private matter, not mine to share. Edit 1. I'm heading to work now, but I'll try to reply to comments during the day, especially those echoing the doubts in my mind. I want to clear up a few points. I wouldn't abandon him if he tested positive or if he got sick. I just want to ensure we can afford the best care and lifestyle for him if he does, which requires starting now. I don't expect flawless children, that's unrealistic, but we could avoid passing on a 50-50 risk of this disease. There are other paths, like adoption, but they need planning. I'm open to taking a genetic test myself, too. Sure, we could face cancer, accidents, or other unpredictables, but you can't prepare for every curveball. This is a unique case where we can plan ahead. At its core, we're fundamentally different. I'm a planner. He's carefree. Until now, our differences balanced each other, but this issue has created a divide we can't seem to cross happily. Edit 2. I'm stunned by the responses, both supportive and critical. It's reassuring to see this is a nuanced issue with no obvious solution. I've decided to pause and reflect. Some of you pointed out that a few weeks might not be enough for him to process this potential diagnosis, and that's fair. My instinct to tackle problems immediately may not be right here. So, I'm not leaving, not yet, and hopefully never. I'm seeking therapy to manage my stress and giving him room, not physically, to work through his feelings. We'll revisit this later, hopefully with more patience from me and openness from him. Update 1. Hey, it's me again. I shared earlier this year about my partner's refusal to test for Huntington's after learning he had a 50% chance of carrying the gene. Some of you offered amazing advice, others gave me the reality check I needed, and a few, well, the internet's gonna internet. I was in a dark place when I posted. Stress kills my appetite and sleep. While he had a few weeks to grapple with this, I spent those weeks in constant anxiety, barely getting an hour of fitful rest each night. I was utterly drained, and the thought of leaving only surfaced as I neared my breaking point. We've since had deep conversations. We cried, argued, researched, and sought advice from friends, family, and experts. We took breaks when it got too heavy. Ultimately, he agreed to get tested. The relief is indescribable. He tested negative, meaning he's safe from both developing the disease and passing it on. But once the joy settled, we decided to pause our engagement and spend time apart. I still adore him, but this was our first major conflict, and it made us question ourselves and our relationship. Neither of us was wrong, but our perspectives were so different that compromise felt impossible. I've spent recent months traveling overseas, and we've only exchanged a few messages. I'm back now, and tonight is our second first date. Wish me luck. Edit. I've said this repeatedly, but here it is again. I never planned to leave if he tested positive. I just needed certainty to plan our lives. We mutually agreed to take a break. It's been an emotional whirlwind of a year. We didn't cut contact entirely, but kept it minimal by design. It was tough. I started a journal of everything I wanted to share with him. It's long, and I'm excited to show him. I didn't issue an ultimatum, though I see why it seemed that way. Thinking about leaving was impulsive and irrational, and I shared that only online. I'm not suicidal for those concerned. Thanks to everyone sharing stories about Huntington's, chronic conditions, and love. I'm reading them all and wishing you and your loved ones strength and joy. Update 2. The original title was cringeworthy and now outdated, but I'm stuck with it. Sorry. For newcomers, my partner learned he was at risk for Huntington's. I wanted him to test. He didn't. Months later, he did, and thankfully he's negative. The ordeal strained us, so we took a break. Last night was our second first date, and so many of you want details. First, let me address a few things. Some seem determined to cast a villain, but my partner isn't one. He's not selfish or avoidant. He's a person confronting his mortality. His reaction was human, and I didn't make it easier early on. To those who always handle crises flawlessly, I'm jealous. I mess up sometimes, like when I didn't give him enough time to process. But I owned it, stepped back, and he forgave me. What more do you want? Many suggested we should have acted as if he had the disease. But that assumption, living as if he were doomed, is what pushed him to test. He didn't want us to hoard money instead of enjoying life, pursue complex fertility treatments unnecessarily, or avoid opportunities due to premature end-of-life plans. In his words, the truth was halfway revealed, and ignoring it wouldn't make it vanish. A positive result would have had us scrutinizing every symptom. Uncertainty would have done the same. It wasn't easy. He even postponed hearing the results once because he wasn't ready. But I supported him through it. Now, the date. Imagine rewatching a beloved childhood film, nervous it won't feel the same. That's how I felt. Thanks to the critical comments, I was too distracted to dwell on my nerves. The magic was still there, stronger even. Despite months apart, it felt effortless, more comfortable than before. It was like we were the joyful couple from last winter, before this storm hit. A burden had been lifted, letting us move forward. I'd forgotten how light and fun things could feel with him. Many thought pausing our relationship was foolish, that counseling would have been better. I'm no expert. Don't follow my lead. I don't know why it worked for us, just that we were exhausted and sensed a break was necessary. Forcing ourselves to fix things might have... Trust your gut. It's there for a reason. And no, he wasn't moping while I explored Europe. He had his own journey, buying a car. We're in Manhattan, so that's huge. And road tripping across the U.S. We stayed up all night swapping stories, photos, and tales of people we met. Sharing our separate adventures felt special, like living them through each other's eyes. We have years ahead to travel together. To those hoping he'd ditch me, sorry, we're still here. We know this renewed spark won't last forever, but we're ready for future challenges. We've probably faced our biggest one already. Fingers crossed. But if something tougher comes, I'm confident we'll manage. Did we act perfectly? Nope. Will we next time? Doubtful. Are we determined to merge our clashing problem-solving styles into a dynamic duo ready to tackle anything? You bet. Thanks for reading my journey. Cue the credits. My girlfriend tried to transform me by insisting I toss my vintage band shirts and push for a promotion, so I stashed my clothes at work, and she contacted my boss without telling me. I'm a 30-year-old guy, and my girlfriend, 32, came into my life earlier this year. We hit it off fast, becoming close friends within a month, then dating after a month, and we've been together about 6 months. We met during a night out with buddies. We don't share a home, but she's often at my place since it's near her job. Things started wonderfully. She was supportive and we clicked effortlessly. But lately, she's been pressing me to change my lifestyle and seems frustrated when I don't comply. The two key issues are my job and my clothes. I've worked at the same retail shop since I was 16. It's straightforward, covers my expenses, and I'm practically a manager without the title or stress. I don't want that extra burden for no pay. I also earn through investments, so money's not tight. As for my style, I own a ton of tees and sweatshirts from an emo band my friends and I loved as kids. Probably 50 or more. I wear them often because they spark joy and harm no one. I've got some anxiety and routine familiarity soothes me. Some family suspect OCD, but I might have it, but I've never been diagnosed. A few weeks ago, my girlfriend voiced annoyance about my clothing, saying I need to act my age. She spends a lot on trendy outfits, which is fine. She's free to spend her money, and it's not hurting anyone. But I don't see why my wardrobe's an issue. We had a major fight, but made up, went shopping, and bought me new clothes. They're nice, and I enjoy wearing them. Days later, I wore a band shirt again since my new stuff were dirty. She got livid, ignoring my explanation that I hadn't agreed to ditch my old clothes completely. She didn't speak to me for a day, then later said new clothes would help me grow. After a long talk, I reluctantly agreed to give up my band stuff. Packing them, I broke down and she called me foolish, so I asked her to leave space. She returned later, and we reconciled. I told her I'd donate the clothes, but instead, I took them to work and stored them there. My boss was puzzled but supportive. Back home, she'd ordered me more clothes, saying I'd benefit from the change. That night, she brought up my job, questioning why I'm not a manager yet. I explained I don't want to be, that it's more work for no raise, and the store doesn't need one. She's been cold, only harping on about promotions, or and pay raises. I told her that's not how it works there, that I earn elsewhere, and she has her own income, so it shouldn't matter. She yelled, called me worthless, and stormed off. My boss then said she'd called him, asking why I'm not promoted. After feeling down, I realized I'm done. I've also seen friends less because she wants all my time. I'm not content anymore and think she was pretended initially to win me over. She even praised my band shirts early on. I appreciate her point about new clothes. They've helped a bit, but I loved my old ones too. It wasn't excessive, just jeans and tees, a wearable hobby. Lying about donating them felt awful. and my coworkers noticed I was off. I strive to be truthful because deception stings. I'm set on breaking up, but she's persuasive, and I'm nervous. My mind's firm, though. Can you suggest how to stay resolute and break it off without her swaying me? Update 1. A few clarifications. I stay in this job because it's comforting for my anxiety. I'm basically a manager because I cover their duties sometimes, but I don't want the role full-time. It's draining. I'm planning to be more driven, exploring new paths. My clothes are back home and I'll keep the new ones as I bought many and like them. I see her intent with new clothes but disliked her tactics and goal. To those picturing me as a grungy oddball, nope. It's just band tees with jeans. I'm not some edgy teen, just a 30-year-old fan of my band. Haha, no shade to quirky folks. Love that vibe. On to the breakup. We don't live together, so no lease issues. I changed my lock since she had a key. The breakup was messy, but done. I was planning how to do it, maybe at a cafe when she showed up unexpectedly after work. She sensed something was wrong, and since I'd been mulling it over, I just went for it. I admitted I lied about donating my clothes, saying I'd kept them at work. She was furious, calling me deceitful. I apologized, explaining I felt coerced, and my collection wasn't hurting anyone. I don't think felt the fight was justified, but I didn't push back and moved on. I then said she'd called my boss, which angered me. She apologized, but doubled down on me being a manager. I accepted it to keep things moving. Then, I said I wanted to end things. She was stunned, asking what I meant. I repeated I didn't want to continue, asked for her to go, and said I'd change locks, but we could arrange for her stuff. She pleaded, but I held firm, saying we're over. She called me weak as she left, slamming the door. This was recent. She hasn't replied to my message about her things. Maybe she doesn't want them. I told my boss about it, and he's supportive. We're close, and he'll help if needed. I'll share with colleagues soon. Moving forward, I want to grow for myself. Work on in career and my style. I'll buy more polished clothes, but keep my band tees. LOL. I'm not sure about work yet, but my retail experience is adaptable. I feel odd, but relieved. Not sad or thrilled, just free. Seeing her stuff here is strange, like it's from another life. I've connected with friends, and we'll catch up soon. I don't know what she's doing, and I'm okay with that. Thanks for the support. It was validating to know I wasn't overreacting. Some shared similar experiences or loved their partner's quirky habits, which was heartwarming. Wearing band tees sometimes starts chats with fellow fans, and we part smiling. It's just wholesome.